Hello and welcome to Your Story, Your Impact, where we shine a light on the top players making a real difference in the construction world. Today we are with Paul Sanneman. He has spent over 40 years helping contractors not just grow their businesses, but build strong, successful teams through his work with hundreds of companies. He is the founder of Contractor Staffing Source. He's tackled one of the biggest challenges in our industry, finding and keeping great people. So, Paul, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate being here.
Yeah, so I'm really excited for this conversation because we're always doing market research, and the problem of hiring and finding good workers comes up again and again and again, and it's a real pain point. So looking forward to this conversation. And I guess, yeah, for the people that might not know, if you want to give like a brief intro
Okay.
about who you are, your experience.
I'm an old, I hate to say it, I've been doing this almost 50 years. It makes me a really old
Mm,
guy. I've
mm,
worked with over 2,000 contractors and have 200,000 hours doing this, like crazy numbers, right?
wow.
Um, and so in doing that about 7 years ago, I was really good at getting companies from maybe a million to 20 million. My secret sauce was work with architects. I knew how to do that. I knew how to create
Hmm.
all systems and do that. The problem was I could grow a company from a million to like, 5, 10 million, but they couldn't find employees.
Hmm.
So that didn't work. So I said, okay, well, I got to be some solution. So I went out, did a bunch of research, found the best software stack and all the, best protocol and everything for recruiting. I gave it to my clients and they totally screwed it up. Didn't have time to do
Hmm.
it, right? So,
Hmm.
okay, well, how hard can this be? So I put a guy in my garage and I said, okay, I want you to use this technology to recruit for my clients. Um, Fast forward to today. There's 35 people on the team. We've hired 4 or 5,000 people in the last 7 years, I believe. We have a
Hmm.
92% success rate. We're basically in every market in the US and Canada. We're probably one of the top recruiters in the US and Canada, period, for just residential construction service in that industry.
Hmm.
Um, so it's worked out really well. I have two secrets. What are my secrets there, Andrew? Okay.
Please do share.
The secret is a lot of AI and a lot of offshore labor because
Hmm.
AI is really, really smart and offshore labor is amazing. Um,
Yeah.
the talent you get is amazing. So out of the 35 people that work for me, I think they're offshore and they're just amazing. So it allows me to
Hmm.
deliver at a much less cost than anybody else. I can literally recruit for 5 positions for $1,500 a month all in and find everybody you need and do all
Wow.
this, the testing and everything. So if you're listening to this podcast, you probably want to know how do you do that, right? You can do it yourself. I can
Hmm.
explain how to do it yourself and do it yourself. One of the keynotes, Andrew, is you need to understand that the purpose of you recruiting is to get somebody to quit their job and come to work for you.
Right.
You do not want to employ anybody who doesn't have a job, especially in this market, right?
Hmm.
So the question
Yeah.
is, how do you get somebody to quit their job and come to work for you? Well, you got three options as I see it. Method one, you can hire a headhunter, and that's going to cost you 10 to 15% of your salary. And they'll go track somebody down and try to get to quit the job and work for you. That's option A. Option
Hmm.
B, you can use someone like us, we're a lot less expensive, maybe $1,500 a month, and we can do the same thing. But we will be everywhere, but we won't go like call them at night and say, come to work for this company. If they're out
Right.
there looking, find them. Or option C, you can do it yourself. Now, if you're going to do it yourself, um, I'll tell you how to do it. It's actually not that complicated, all right? I got a formula. Now, before I get into do it yourself, let me tell you why most contractors have a very difficult time finding people.
Hmm.
Okay? And it has to do with their beliefs. You know what I mean? What
Yeah.
they and like most things, it gets in the way. So I'm going to
Hmm.
go through a couple of things I find out that just definitely don't work. One is the belief only recruit when you need somebody.
Hmm.
Not true. I've been fighting this
Yeah.
forever. And you need to recruit all the time. But there's this myth out there that, oh, I'm going to put an ad out there in Indeed or where I'm going to stick it, and the guy's just looking at home. He's looking for a job and then come to work for me. If he's looking for a job, you do not want to hire the guy. In this
Hmm.
market, anybody looking for a job that isn't already working is already a bad candidate. All
Hmm.
right. Second one is employees are expensive. Like, I can't afford this guy. Well, you can't make any money without employees. The more
Right.
employees you have, the more money you make. How hard is that to figure out?
Hmm.
And then the next one I get in, gets in the way is, oh, we can do this ourselves. How hard is it to do this, right? I mean, put an ad in Indeed, check a couple resumes, it's all good. It doesn't work that way. I
Hmm.
mean, I'm sure you don't fix your own car, you don't do your own taxes, you probably don't do your own marketing. Trying to do in
Hmm.
recruiting the same kind of thing. Let somebody knows really what the hell they are doing to do it for you. All right.
Right.
And the next one is, they got to have a construction background. I can't have that. It's not true. I mean, give me an example, Andrew. We've hired some wedding planners that have killed it as construction coordinators. Think about it. I mean,
Mm.
a wedding planner has to get a bunch of flaky is probably a bad word, not that responsible people together, i.e., the band, the venue, the caterer, all these people all have to be the right place at the right time. It's got to look good, and everybody's got to be happy. Sounds
Right.
like a construction job to me, right?
Hmm.
So, and the hospitality industry is not doing that well. So we get amazing people that were like from the other industries. They don't have to be in the same industry. The
Hmm.
next one, this kills everybody. Hire fast and fire slow.
Mm.
Why do people hire fast? They're desperate, right? I got this project coming up. My guy just quit. A zillion different reasons, right? I got to hire this
Yeah.
guy right now. So they hire
Hmm.
the first warm body that seems reasonable that walks through the door. And
Hmm.
then they fire slow, which is even worse because, the guy's not bad enough to fire, good enough to keep, purgatory. He just screws
Right.
up your, right? He shows up
Hmm.
late, he lies occasionally, trashes the company, whatever. And now everybody looking at him goes, wow, we've just lowered the standards in our company. I'm not sure I want to
Hmm.
work here.
Yeah.
If you work here, what's the deal? So correction messes up your culture. So you need to hire slow and fire fast. But unfortunately, most people don't hire slow because they think it's expensive. Back to the first problem. The problem is most contractors have what I have called it's going to call the project mindset. Everything's a project. Yes,
Hmm.
a beginning, a middle, and an end. So they look at anything to do, it's a project because their whole
Right.
brain is around projects, right? So look
Right.
at recruiting just like a project. Oh, I need somebody. I'll run the ads, I'll find the person, and I'll hire them. Recruiting
Hmm.
is not a project, it is a process. It's like saying
Hmm.
marketing is a project. Oh, I need a job, I'll go advertise for it. Accounting is a project. Oh, when I need to find the books, I mean, it's not that way. Recruiting is a process. But
Right.
unfortunately, most contracts with a contractor brain says, oh, it's a project. They look at it that way and they mess it up because it's an ongoing process. So, getting that through, I'm going to tell you literally what you need to do to make this work. Okay. It's pretty simple. The first thing you need to do, and AI's made this a lot easier, Andrew, is you got to
Hmm.
write a killer ad.
Yeah.
All right. Now, this is way easier with AI than it used to be. So you go to your chat GPT or whatever AI you're using and say, look at, you're the world's best recruiting person. You know how to get somebody to quit their job and come to work for you. You give them some prompt that tells it who it is. It's like the world's best person at getting somebody to quit their job and come to work for you. I want
Hmm.
you to write an ad that will get somebody to do that. And you can say, I'm a roofer in Tennessee. I'm a electrician, whatever you are. Explain who you are, what you want, tell it who it is, and it'll write you a killer ad. Then you can modify it.
Right.
Ways that
Right.
you, all right. The next, same AI question. Where should I post this ad? And don't miss anywhere. All right.
Hmm.
We posted on 100 job boards plus LinkedIn. We post an ad 100, 150 places in real time every time we put something out there. You don't put an ad in Indeed and you're done. Now, if you go to AI, it will say the local, it'll tell you, it'll literally draw a poster to put in the supply houses for you to hang if you ask it to. You can say,
Mm.
make me a poster. I'm going to put in the local, electrical supply house to track somebody to my, and it'll literally do a PDF of the poster.
Yeah.
Um, and so you ask it, and it'll tell you these are the local, you ask it what local restaurants do electricians hang out at, and it'll tell you, right? So
Hmm.
you use it to find out every possible place to put this thing. You don't just put it in Indeed and you're done. All right. That is
Hmm.
key. Most people just put Indeed and maybe Zoom or LinkedIn, they're done. That can't work.
Yeah.
Now, this
Got to be everywhere.
ought to be everywhere. Okay. Now, Andrew, this is the killer. This is the deal breaker for most contractors and post people listening to this podcast.
Hmm.
You've got to contact them in real time.
Hmm.
Speed delete, right?
Yep.
I mean, so when somebody's going down and Google and goes, oh, electrician, or plumber, or whatever, remodeler, they're going to go down. The first person that calls it back wins,
Right.
right? It's no different in recruiting. People
Hmm.
go. going down Indeed and they go apply, 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 apply. I mean, we take 200 to 300 applicants to find one person. It's so easy to apply these days. Everybody applies for everything. There's no screening at all. So you go apply, 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 apply. Now, you've got to get back to them literally within 10 to 20 seconds to a minute. Who is going to do that? I mean, it's really hard. Unless you have some good AI to do it. I mean, that's why we have all these people as pipeline scanners. We get back to people within 1 minute of the time they apply. If you
Mhm.
want to get a good applicant tracking system, we'll probably do it for you. There's a couple out there. We have our own, but you've got to respond in real time because
Right.
you'll lose all the good people if you don't. And that's the toughie. I mean, how's the average contractor going to respond to 200 people in real time on a Saturday? It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
And that's where most people mess up.
Hmm.
Now, assuming you contact in real time, the next important part, Andrew, is a detailed skills assessment. There's a bunch of them out there. We use ours. You can find one your own. A good assessment will tell you the person's personality. We do like a disc profile, reverse disc profile. We've done like 300,000 of these. So we know
Hmm.
what a person looks like, a good plumber looks like, a good project manager, a good accountant, whatever. We know what personality they need to have to do this job. The assessment tells us that. We know if they have integrity or not. I mean, here's the honest costing question, Andrew. We do an integrity kind of thing that tells you how honest they are, how much integrity they have. So, Andrew, here's a question for you. I want you to support your boss. You're a really supportive employee, okay?
Hmm.
Now, your boss tells you to or you're gonna let's say that the service is going to be delivered in 2 weeks for the product, right? You know it's 4 weeks. The boss knows it's 4 weeks. What are you going to tell the client? You going to lie and support the boss or tell the truth?
I would want to tell them the truth. And
Right. And
yeah,
if you lie, that means your truth is conditional, which is not a good thing.
right,
But you have to have those kind of questions to get to person's integrity. Because
right,
that stuff, you can change what they know, but you can't change who they are.
right.
So if you have good of assessment that tells you what their integrity is, it's really hard to determine whether they're the right person or not. And you usually find that out way too late.
Hmm.
Next thing you need to find out is their intelligence. I literally, everything we assess, it's like an IQ test. I can tell you mechanical skills, cognitive skills. I can do an assessment. And this wheel go this way, this wheel goes that way. Which way does this wheel go? I will know all about your cognitive skills. I can find that out on an assessment. So by the time you're done with the assessment, you know their personality is right for the job. You know if they have integrity, and you know if they have the right intelligence to do the job. Now,
Hmm.
some things you cannot tell on an assessment. How old are
Right.
you? Look like? How's your English? Where are your tattoos? I mean, pick one,
Mm.
right? So
Yeah.
you do a video interview. We do a video
Hmm.
interviews for everybody. You don't have to do it in real time. There's a lot of programs out there that like do the video on the phone, whatever. We do always video interviews. And the
Hmm.
video interview tells you everything you can't find out from the assessment, right?
Hmm.
So after you've screened all these people, they've done the assessment, they've done a video interview, um, then you can do the in-person Zoom interview. It takes about usually 100, 200 people to go through to find out the person that ends up at the sort of bottom of the funnel. And then
Hmm.
you do a video or an in-person interview. And if you're hiring this person, you take them around. If you have skill set like, how do you lay a house, whatever you need. We can't test on how they frame a door. You have to see them frame a
Right.
door or
Right.
whatever. So the skills test you got to do in person, but don't hire anybody until you have done assessments. Can candidates lie or exaggerate or pick one, right? So
Yeah.
if you don't know their real skills test, you don't want to put them on a job and find, oh my God, they missed out laying out the foundation by 4 inches. They got to tear it out, right? Bad idea. So you've
Hmm.
got to test the skills in person. You could go out with them. Is their car neat? Is it trashed? How do they treat their waitress? How do they play golf? I mean, you can tell about people by your interactions with them because you want to
Yeah.
find somebody that meets your culture, right? And that's
Right.
the interview. Next, you do background checks and reference checks. There's a bunch of software out there with the background checks, do the reference checks. I mean,
Hmm.
literally, story. I had a guy that hired a bookkeeper that embezzled him. When he went to the DA to try to prosecute her, he said, "Didn't you realize the job before this, she got fired for embezzlement?" Like, duh. So,
Yeah.
so you got to do the background checks and reference checks to make sure
Right.
they're the person. We do all that stuff, all right? And
Hmm.
then you got to make a competitive job offer because you got to get them to quit their job and come to work for you. And you can
Right.
do that by checking the internet, asking AI. There's a bunch of ways to find out what you have to pay this person to get them to quit job and come to work for you. The
Right.
last one is a successful onboarding process. AI can really help here. You can go to AI and say, I just hired a roofer, a plumber, whatever, electrician or remodeler, or, like a carpenter. Tell me, give me a 6-week onboarding process. What do I do day one, day two? It'll also develop the KPIs, the key performance indicators. It'll write KPIs for that person to write
Right.
evaluation. It makes life so much easier. So use
Hmm.
AI to write an onboarding process, when and what you do, because one of the biggest mistakes, Andrew, that can happen with a new employee is they come to work the first day. Now they're going to come home and tell their spouse something. It's going to be
Hmm.
something between, oh my God, this is the biggest mistake that I've ever made. These people are terrible. Or it's going to say, I'm so glad I did this. This job is amazing. Best decision I ever made.
Yeah.
You want it for the best decision I ever made part.
Hmm.
So you don't want to put them on the job, don't treat them well, throw them out of the job and give them a tool belt and say, go for it, or a lawnmower, whatever, right? Bad idea.
Right. Right.
Have to fall in love with you and the company in the first week or so. All right. If
Hmm.
you do all those, you got it docked.
Yeah. Sounds like you got a great whole lined out process there. And yeah, when you hit all those marks, people, I mean, I imagine most contractors not gonna have much trouble, or at least a lot less.
I mean, what
Um,
happens is contractors skip parts of that. That's why they say there's nobody out there because they don't know how they're looking. I mean, somewhere we found 4,000 people that are amazing, right? So
yeah.
they don't have time or energy or resources to go through all these steps. And you can't skip any. You can't go, well, I'm going to put it in Indeed, not everywhere. Oh, I'm not going to call them back in real time. I'm going to call them back a week later. Or
Right.
I'm going to skip the assessment. I have no good one. Or I can't. You skip any of these, it's like building a house. You can't like mess up on the foundation and expect it to work.
Right.
You've got to do every step. And I've learned this after doing it for 7 years and hired thousands of people. I know this works. And I can
Right.
hire any market in the country. I've had to be successful. It always works. But if you don't follow the whole process, you're in trouble.
Yeah. That was actually going to be my next question. Like, if a contractor comes to you and they say, "Oh, no one wants to work anymore. There's no one out there." Um, yeah. So you're basically saying that there's the whole process, and if they're missing a step,
If you're not
then
in the process, I mean, I'll give you an example. I'm sure, if you're old enough to find somebody, before Walmart showed up, right, there would be a downtown, right? The downtown
mhm,
would have a drugstore and a grocery store and a heart, all that kind of stuff, right?
right.
And they would all say there's nobody that wants to work here. Employees are terrible. All the kids just want to hang out. All these reasons they can't find anybody. They build a
Hmm.
Walmart a mile out of town and find 500 people somewhere because
Hmm.
they know how to do it.
Right.
Same market,
Yeah.
same people, better at it.
Yeah. That's
So
true.
I think the message is there is no shortage of qualified people, but they all are already working for somebody else. And if
Mm.
you don't have a way to get them to quit their job and work for you, you're not going to find the right people.
Yeah. Very true. Very true.
So that's what I found about after doing this for 5 years and getting really good at it. I mean, as I said, we hire 20, 30 people every week and they always work out and everything. But we follow all these steps and processes. So if you're
Right.
not going to do it yourself, have us do it. But if you're going to do it yourself, make sure you follow all this process. You want to run through it more time just so people remember real quickly?
Sure. Yeah.
Write a job ad to attract somebody to quit their job and work for you. Post the ad everywhere. Use AI to do that. Contact applicants in real time as soon as possible. Do a detailed behavioral assessment. Do an initial video interview. Do an in-person Zoom interview. Conduct background checks. Conduct reference checks. Make a competitive job offer, and ensure a successful onboarding experience. That's it. It always works.
Awesome. Awesome. That's the Cliff Notes version.
Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, I mean, definitely got a great process in play there. So I guess one other question, if a contractor wants to go from 1 million to 5 million a year, what's the very first thing you think they should focus on?
Building a team.
Mm,
I use an example. Elon Musk, I love him or hate him, but he's really good at building teams. He
yeah.
couldn't do what he's building teams, right? Anybody
Right.
who's successful in business, their number one ability is have a vision and then building a team to make that vision happen. It's not because
Mhm.
they're good at driving hammers. Because the problem with most contractors are they're craftsmen that are good at whatever their craft is, electrician, plumber, pick one. They start to build a company. Well,
Mhm.
building a company doesn't have much to do with knowing how well to do the job.
Right.
You have people that know how to do that,
Mhm.
but it's all about how do you have a vision and have a process and then build a team that can pull it off.
Right. And then, yeah, some contractors tell me like, well, I'm slammed with work, but I'm not really making more money. And so,
That's because they have the
yeah,
wrong team,
yeah,
right? I
that's
mean,
what I,
they have people that are not doing the job the way they should do it, and they haven't been
right.
instructed. I mean, employees have three problems. They're the wrong person, you hired them. They're
Hmm.
not motivated. That's your problem. You hired them, or they don't know what they're doing. That's also your problem. So
Hmm.
all employee problems are actually owner problems. And if you're not making
Yeah,
any money, it's because you got the wrong team. Because
right.
you can't charge enough because the labor's usually labor kills most companies. Your labor's too high because the guy's taking 5 hours to frame a door and supposed to an hour.
Hmm.
So all problems, although they look like I have a scheduling problem, I have a cash flow problem, I have a, they're all people problems. They're all
I
because you don't have the
agree.
right team. And if
Yeah.
you ask yourself if you have the right team, it's a simple question, Andrew. If you started the company over and there isn't anybody you wouldn't rehire, you should fire them.
Yeah, that's a good litmus test question to ask yourself. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. And I guess like from the success stories you've seen, maybe what maybe mental habits or attitudes do the most successful contractors always seem to have.
Well, I would say work hard on yourself than you do on your job, and don't
Mm,
be a victim.
right.
Every successful contractor I've ever met doesn't blame anybody for anything. They go,
Hmm.
I got the wrong guy, I hired him. I have the wrong client, I took it on. I mean,
Hmm.
they're willing to accept 100% responsibility for their entire company. They don't blame anybody for anything.
Right.
And then that way they can fix it. Because you can't fix the economy. You can't fix if they say, oh, tariffs are doing it's in, or there's no labor. I mean, you can't fix that
Right.
stuff. That's
Yeah.
something that's putting outside yourself. If you accept responsibility and say, okay, I have not correctly adapted to my market, that's why I'm in business. I don't know how to recruit people. That's not the right people. It's always about them. So all successful contractors, I work with hundreds, actually thousands, um, they all take responsibility. They don't blame the economy. They don't blame, their brother-in-law. They don't blame their
Right.
bad. They say, look, it's all me, and I need to figure out how to fix it.
Right. Yeah. Victim mindset can just be a killer.
That's true.
All right. So yeah, I guess a couple last questions for you. What do you think something most people completely misunderstand about the life of a contractor?
Well, the life of a contractor can be the world's or best lifestyle, right? Some contractors, I've got contractors that make 1 million a year and work 20 hours a week. I have guys
Mm,
that aren't making any money at all and work 60 to 70 hours a week.
hmm.
And so, and also there's a thing, oh, contractors aren't honest. When that's not true. I mean, there's any industry, there's always people who lie, cheat, and steal. Pick an industry,
Right.
right?
Right. Yeah.
But so, that's just people. But in
Hmm.
general, contractors, I'll tell you, of all the people I've worked with, attorneys, I've done consulting for all kinds of businesses. As a group of people, I like contractors the best. They're honest, they're
Hmm.
hardworking, they have integrity. I
Hmm.
mean, I work with doctors and attorneys and some people that don't quite fall in that category. So,
Yeah.
um, as a group of people, contractors are amazing. They're just really good
Hmm.
people. And so I think that's something the contractor has to get across because there's a skepticism out there about like used car salespeople, attorneys, contract. I mean, they're
Yeah.
all somehow going to do you in, and
Right.
there's good and bad people in every industry, and
Yeah.
contracting,
Very,
but there's great
very true.
contractors out there. You just got to find the right one. There's great people out there too.
Yeah. Very true. And then I guess the last one would be if you could maybe wave a magic wand and kind of instantly fix one thing about the construction industry, What might that be?
I would say, like an industry, that the people in the industry take responsibility for their own industry, for their
Mm,
reputation, for the quality of the people, for the quality of the work. So, I mean, I would like this country to respect the construction industry as a valid, solid industry that's making a great contribution to this country.
mm. Very good. Very nice closing statement there. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Well, Paul, this has been awesome. Really appreciate you taking the time and sharing so much of your experience, wisdom
Thank you
with
for having me.
us.
And if anybody wants
Yeah.
to get hold of me, go to contractorstaffingsource.com. I'll be happy to talk to them.
Awesome. Yeah, I was just about to ask you, best place to find you. So yeah, we'll link that up in the description to so they can find
Great.
you easily.
Sure. Thank
Um,
you.
but yeah, thanks again for being here. I really enjoyed the conversation, and yeah, definitely hope to collaborate more with you down the road.
Thank
And
you.
yeah, well, thanks everyone for tuning in, and see you next time.
Thank you. Thank you for being here.